Hello everybody! Wanna play a game? A manly game? At least something to hold you over till DUke Nukem Forever comes out in March? If it comes out, that is. Yes, I had to go and make that joke. I hope you have some chest hair on you, because today I'll be reviewing Bulletstorm.
Oh, hello there. Okay, so the basic gist of the story is you're this guy and you hate this guy because he betrayed you and these guys. Because he's a bastard, and that's why. And essentially, when you find out that he's been ordering you to kill innocent civilians instead of bad guys like slave traders, you go rogue and, you decide to pirate for around 10 years. 10 years later, the bastard shows up with a large ship and you fight him with your tiny ship. You can imagine how well that goes. So, what happens afterwards is you manage to take him out. Well, not directly, but you shot him down. Unfortunately, the bastard survived, unlike most of your crew, except for one. It turned into a half-robot, half-guy thing. The story is, all the way till the end, rather enjoyable and surprisingly good. Of course, you can imagine, just like the game has been promoting, it has a lot of foul language. Yeah, a lot of foul language. But at least they try to be creative with it, though.
You scared the dick off me, giant dick!
I will kill your dicks!
You're gonna kill my dick? I'll kill your dick!
Speaking of dick killing.
What the dick?
Or not, depending on your point of view. And most of the characters are rather likable, even though they do cuss like sailors. Or worse. So, in the overall sense, the story is simple, but it's entertaining. And by the time you get to the end, you'll see that they have a sequel in plans. Which is not a bad thing, I can assure you. Now, on to the gameplay section.
The gameplay is very simple, but at the same time it's fun, because the game tries to go back to the olden days of arcade-like shooters, with modern elements thrown in for good fun overall. The first 30 minutes or so of the game are rather boring, admittedly, because you don't instantly have your whip and just a kick and your normal rifle attacks. Once you get the whip is when the game becomes really interesting, because then you can start doing skill shots. Now, skill shots are unique shots that are worth more points than just shooting an enemy. Now, most of them are easy, satisfying, and generally fun to execute. But the problematic ones are more the ones that require you to do something to the enemies while they are in the air, or do something that seems very annoying. For example, the shoot the enemy in the balls one that you do with the guided bullets of the sniper rifle are surprisingly annoying and difficult because the enemies somehow seem to constantly see the bullets coming. And it's just weird, but they are worth it to execute. Your character can also slide, which makes traversing terrain, especially downhill ones, much faster, and it's actually fun to do. Boss battles are few and far between, there's like only 2 or 3 of them. But there's lots of mini-bosses along the way to make the game a little bit more difficult. The game's various over-the-top weapons such as the bullet-controlling sniper and chain-wrapping explosive gun. What makes the game more fun, however, is how you manage to use them along with the whip and kick attacks. Because the kick and whip attacks cause enemies to go into slow motion for a couple of seconds, and you can do all sorts of stuff to them. Rape probably isn't recommended though. The The game's points that you get from killing enemies creatively is the game's currency, which you use to upgrade guns and buy ammo. The only other gameplay variation in the single player is the rail sequences. These are fun and over the top like you'd expect them to be, but nothing new. But there's actually one part that I don't think any other game has matched it yet in. Controlling a giant laser shooting robot dinosaur. Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? Unfortunately, this is also the game's most emotional part.
He served us well. I named him Waggleton P. Tallylicker, but I never got the chance to tell him. He will be remembered.
Now, I know what you're thinking. The graphics suck. Well, yeah, on my computer. Even though I have everything set up all the way to high, it doesn't seem to want to look good on my computer for some reason. But I've seen plenty of gameplay videos and all I can say is the game looks amazing. But then again, it's the Unreal Engine, so it makes sense. The game is constantly over the top in a lot of ways, especially with the skill shots, and the game's animations are generally pretty smooth. The world is filled with plenty of wonderful vistas and variety in locations, and generally there's a lot of wow moments, like the giant wheel early in the game that chases you. The game's soundtrack does the job to pump you up for just about every fight rather nicely, and voice acting is generally pretty solid, and they deliver their role well enough. Especially when they swear, like we discussed earlier.
Comes Butter Dick Jones and his heavenly asshole machine.
The game's marketing campaign was great and basically showed off what the game was about, having fun and making fun of everything else. Overall, if you like games where everyone cusses like a sailor, where it doesn't take itself seriously, and it's constantly over the top, then you shouldn't miss out on Bulletstorm. Till next time.